Boy, have I been excited to roll out number 2 of running form faults for medial knee pain, the puppet. What is the puppet, you may ask? That is a great question. Thanks for asking. So what I want you guys to imagine is that I have strings coming from my hand to the opposite knee. And what you're going to see is this pulling. It's this lifting, pulling the key, not pushing like we've talked about before. I'm pulling using my hip flexors. So what do you see? This up and down movement. I'm using my hip flexors to pull up, which the action of those is just pulling up, not going forward. And if you remember from the last post, what did we see? A compensation for tightness of hip extension, lack of hip extension, could be coming from your hip flexor. So when a muscle is constantly lengthening, shortening, and contracting, it can become adaptively shortened. Plus that was sitting all day. So we saw what can happen with this is I'm going to compensate by widening my leg, toeing out, and having more stress, that widening and more stress on the inside of the knee. So these are related, but they're also very different, as you're going to see. So you may ask, Matt, why does this cause knee pain? Why does me running like a puppet cause knee pain? Before, we've classified things as either amplification, where you're getting normal forces through the knee, it's just amplified and more than it needs to be, too much too soon, not enough recovery, injury, or we have abnormal loading on the knee. So when it comes to the width, the last post, that was more of abnormal loading. This is normal loading mechanics on the knee, but you're going to see why it's enhanced and a lot greater on the inside compartment of that knee. We're going to go back to the biomechanics a bit. So again, every joint has an axis. There's 3 axes, 3 planes of motion. The knee, this is the main axis that the knee goes on. It goes from medial to lateral or inside out. Again, imagine that I take a rod, go right through the side of my knee, and it moves along the length of that. So it straightens or extends, and it bends or flexes. My body weight, your center of mass, the further that distance is from that axis of the knee, that causes a greater demand on the knee. This is causing a greater bending or flexion moment. What has to counter that is your extenders, your quads. And in addition to that, it's more stress on the knee joint. Imagine like if I'm standing with my knees slightly bent versus sitting back a little bit with more of a bend, what's going to happen? You're going to burn out your quads. It's more stress and more loading on your knees. So not only is it ineffective or inefficient from sitting back, what we see is the heel comes up too early and we have less hip extension and less power. So we're pulling, we're a puppet. So notice the differences. It's subtle, but I promise you, if you slow it down and look, notice how much pulling I'm doing on the left versus pushing here. You'll notice too that with this, I'm a little bit more upright. My center of mass is slightly forward, closer to that axis of the knee joint, so it's less stress. My quad muscle has to work less because the moment is less, there's less of a demand. And here, all the member back, another aha moment, wrist below the elbows. The reason for that was because I'm doing this up and down, this excessive vertical displacement. So you'll see everything here is pulling up versus pushing. So here's your new slogan. In addition to push with the tush, this goes right along with it. Don't be a puppet. Wait for it. Rump it. You get it? The glutes are a rump. You get it. So I'm going to go next post of how do we correct for this? How do we make sure that we're using our glutes, our rump, to propel your body forward versus using your hip flexors and just sitting your weight back and just lifting and plopping your leg up. Hopefully this made sense. Next post, I'm going to go over how we specifically with a drill correct for this. Don't be a puppet. Rump it. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Dr. Matt Minard, and I'm so passionate about helping you run safer. If you found this video helpful, if you could please subscribe and share it with your friends, I'd be forever grateful. I have shorter form content on my Instagram, Learn to Run, and then the longer stuff here, more lecture based, because I understand we come to different platforms for different reasons. So follow me over on Instagram if you want the short and sweet, and follow me on here if you want the longer breakdowns.